Well, I am looking forward to this year, and it is going to be better. You're here, right? So, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're just getting started. So, hey, let me ask you, what kind of movie do you like?
Comedy.
Okay, who likes comedy? Comedy? Okay, what about drama? Okay, romantic? Action? Yeah, okay. That's what I like, okay? I want something to blow up. And I don't mean somebody's relationship, right? Like, can you believe he said that to her? No, I want a car to blow up, a house, maybe a city. If something explodes, it's a good movie to me. Okay, that's what I look forward to. War stuff, all that kind of stuff. So that's just, I don't know. I need something exciting, right? So the other day I was reading like stuff, man stuff like war and like battles and stuff online. And if you're a girl and you like that stuff, that's fine too. But I was reading that stuff online and I ran across this term, this thing that happens in the army, or the military. And they have something and they call it this, okay? They call it the commander's intent, which I was like, this sounds cool, commander's intent. Okay, this is army stuff, I like this. And this is what commander's intent is, and just because you don't care, I'll tell you anyways. A clear, concise statement of what the force must do, okay? So you've got this army, and they need this commander's intent. What are they supposed to do? Or it succinctly describes what constitutes success for the operation. You're like, hey, these are hard words. I'm not in class. Let's move on. Okay, so this is what it is. Basically, let me give you an example. Okay, so there's the commander, and he's like, okay, we're going to take that hill. That's the intent, right? So there might be like the enemies up on this hill, and we're going to take that from them, okay? And that is his intent. Now, once they have that, they may come up with all kinds of plans. Like, okay, we're going to send the tanks up this way, and the Apaches are going to come over here, helicopters, and the infantry's going to come up this way. And they have all these plans, right? And it all is to fulfill the commander's intent. And then, if in the middle of the battle, all the plans go bad, right? Nothing works. They still know what they're supposed to do. And they'll come with a new plan, and they'll try something different because they've got this intent. They know what they're going for. Now, I've experienced this in my life. A few years ago, I was playing one of the things that I love to play, and that's paintball, because I like shooting people with fake guns, okay? and so we're playing paintball, and we're playing this game called Capture the Flag. Have you played Capture the Flag? And so the way we were playing it in this particular time, there was one flag in the middle of the field, and we each started at a base, and to win, you had to get the flag and bring it back to your base. And the first team to do that won. So this is the intent. This is the goal. This is success. If you get the flag, you can get it back. So we were trying to come with our plans and all this, and there was this one guy who was really fast on our team, and he was like, okay, I've got a plan. This is what we're going to do. I'm just going to put my gun down and not even use it. You guys are going to cover me, and I'm going to run as fast as I can straight to the flag, grab the flag, and run back. And everyone was like, okay, sounds good. So this was the plan. So it starts, and we're running, we get as close as we can, and we're laying down all the cover fire and all this, and he grabs the flag. He's turning, he's running. Right in the back, boom, flag is down, okay? Is your heart okay? It's just air. Okay, yeah. Now, the guy who was carrying the flag, our whole plan, done. But guess what? We still won the round. Because just because our plan fell apart didn't mean we didn't know what success still was. And we found another way to get the plan done, okay? So we had to know what was real. We knew what real success was. It wasn't just him getting the flag. It was our team getting the flag. We knew what we were supposed to do, what we're supposed to accomplish. So I have maybe something a little different to talk about than this. Maybe not our commander's intent, but what about Christ's intent? And actually, if you're a Christian, he kind of is your commander, right, in some ways, okay? But what is Christ's intent for us? If you're a believer, okay, if you're not, we'll talk to you in a second, but if you're a believer, what is Christ's intent for your life? Like the ultimate success. In fact, let me ask it like this. I want you to be able to answer this question when you leave tonight. What must a Christian do? Like if you would say, I'm a Christian, what must you do as a Christian? Or maybe we say it like this. What is success for a Christian? I mean, like, how do you know you're succeeding? Well, did you go to church enough? Is that what it is? Like I went this many times and I've succeeded? Or, I prayed this much, or I read this much of my Bible. Is that success? What is success as a Christian? How do I know if I'm succeeding as a Christian? I want us to know the end goal. Like if we don't get anything else right, we got to get this thing right. And if we miss this thing, it doesn't matter what else we do if we don't get this one thing right. So that's what we're going to look at. And it's so important for you and so important for me. And so we're going to start where Jesus is talking to a guy. A guy comes up and asks him a question. It's a pretty simple question. Well, maybe not. But he asks him this question, and he says this, and this is in Matthew chapter 22. He says, teacher. Jesus was a teacher. So he said, hey, teacher, Jesus, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Now, the law is the first 5 books of the Bible. Okay? So it's like you got the law of Moses. What is the greatest commandment out of all that? And if you've ever read it, there's a lot of laws in there, am I right? Like, there's like so many. He's like, what is the greatest out of all of them? And Jesus answers. And Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Now, he gives me this pretty simple answer, and in fact, he goes on and he says, this is the first and greatest commandment. Now, even if you never heard this before, you would probably go, that kind of makes sense. Like, if you're going to be a Christian, then loving God would be first. Like, that makes sense. And though that makes sense, there is a problem that I think some of us have. And that is, Jesus didn't stop talking. He said, and what happens after and is really important. See, and is sometimes a very important part of a conversation. Like if I go to McDonald's and I order a hamburger and fries, and they don't give me the fries, I'm not going to be happy. Because that's really the only reason. I don't go there for their burgers. Like who does that? Okay, I want that, whatever's on those, okay? They're delicious. I want that, okay? But if they miss the and, they miss the point of why I went there. And if we miss the and, we're missing something. In fact, some of you maybe aren't a Christian, and maybe you don't even like Christians. I've met plenty of people in my life that don't like them, don't like Christians. And you know what? I might not blame you if I met the Christians that you met. Because here's what I've noticed. That a lot of times maybe you've experienced this, you met a Christian, and they would say, I love the Lord my God. But they certainly didn't love you, did they? Like they love God. They know how to go to church and do that, but they didn't treat you very good. And I understand why you might feel that way. In fact, if you're a Christian, and we don't get what happens after and. We've missed the point so much. It's kind of like this thing I saw when I was in high school, okay? I was at a football game, Friday night football, okay? And I was in the stands. I'm watching my team play. It's fourth down. We have to punt. Punts the ball. Okay, not a very good punt. It's only going like 20 yards or something. And the guy's going to receive it, and instead of catching it, he muffs it. It goes down on the ground. It's a fumble. It's a live ball. And now, so everybody's scrambling. One guy from our team picks up the ball. This is good. This is the goal, right? Well, maybe. It's part of the plan. Okay, so he picks it up. And in all of the confusion, he accidentally got turned around. And he started running with the football the wrong way towards the other team's end zone. The other team was like, do we tackle him? Like, what do we do? Like, go. And his own team was like, do we tackle him? Like, so we're like tackling our own, like trying to tackle our own teammate. It's like crazy. It's all messed up. And I just imagine the conversation that's like, Coach, I got the fumble, but you went the wrong way. Like, it doesn't matter at that point if you get a safety for the other team. And here's the thing. You may go, oh, but I did this thing for Jesus. And if we don't get this, you went the wrong way. If you miss the and, you went the wrong way. It is so important. It is our commander's intent. Here it is. And the second is like it. It's like there's another command and it's like it. It's great. Like the other one. Here we go. Love your neighbor as yourself. Well, that didn't sound very new. That doesn't sound very complicated. I've heard that one before. And let me just show what else he says. He says, and all the law and the prophets hang on these two. What that means is basically the Old Testament is the law. What they would call that the law and prophets. We call it the Old Testament, okay? All of the things that you might read in there hang on that. In other words, nothing that you read in there works without love your neighbor and love the Lord your God. Everything it says, nothing works if we don't love first. In fact, Paul clarified this. He says you can prophesy, you can like do miracles, you can do all this amazing stuff in God, but if you don't love, you missed it. That's what he says, 1 Corinthians 13. Check that out if you want to. But here it is, love your neighbor. So I don't know if you've ever thought about this. It says all these laws, all this stuff hang on this one thing, okay? Have you thought about this? Why should you tell the truth? I know, because the Bible says it's a sin to tell the truth, and you don't want to go to hell, right? And like this is what I thought when I was a kid. We actually had a song, okay? I'll sing you the song. Some of you have heard me sing this song before. I see someone smiling in the back. It goes like this. Revelation, Revelation 21:8. Liars go to hell, burn, burn, burn. Yeah, some of you went to the same church as me, apparently. All right, so like that is a terrible song, okay. But okay, and this is what I thought, like, okay, you don't lie because you don't want to go to hell. Let me tell you why Jesus would say not to lie. Are you ready? Because it hurts somebody. Because when you tell a lie, what you're doing is you are hurting them for your own benefit. You are making sure you look good, you're making sure you don't get in trouble, and you're willing to hurt somebody else. You're willing to destroy a relationship, destroy a friendship, just so that you can get away with something. It is hurting somebody else. So he was, hey, if you're hurting somebody else, that's not loving your neighbor. You don't lie, because lying is not love. Hurting is not love. That's why I said, how about this? Why should you be generous? I know, because if I give God $1, he'll give me $10. Right? Or, you reap what you sow, so I want to sow good, so I get good. And okay, God blesses us, but that's not why that you're generous. You know why you're generous? This is going to be mind-blowing. You're generous because it helps people. Right? Like, is this hard? No. We're generous because it helps people. And that's what people who love their neighbor do. As they see somebody who needs something and they help them. They love them. That's why you're generous. Let's just do a couple more, okay? Why shouldn't you talk bad about someone? You know where I'm going, right? Because gossip is a sin, and you don't want to get in trouble with Jesus. And right, here we go, same thing. Like, because the Bible says don't talk bad about people. Okay, that's good. The Bible says don't talk about people. The Bible says don't gossip. That's true. But you know what? Even if the Bible didn't say don't gossip, you shouldn't gossip. Why? Because it hurts somebody. Because what it does is it makes you look good while you're making somebody else look bad. And that's not what love does, is it? You're catching what we're going through here? This is like, it makes sense of so many things in the Bible. Okay, we'll do one more just to make you uncomfortable. Why shouldn't you have casual sex with someone? Yeah. I know. Just wait till the relationship series next month. That's going to be a whole nother world. All right. Okay. Why shouldn't you do this? Well, because the Bible says you don't have sex until you're married. And STDs, okay? Yes and yes. But come on, it's much bigger than that. Because when you have casual sex with someone, when you have sex with somebody outside of marriage, did you realize maybe you don't, you are hurting actually for people. See, because when you have sex with someone outside marriage, what you are doing is you are robbing them of exclusivity and intimacy with their future spouse, a level of that they cannot have once that is taken from them. And so, look, we're talking about the person that you're with, their future spouse, your future spouse, and you. It's lose, 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 lose. So if you're hurting for people, love doesn't hurt people, so love doesn't do this. So, and on we could go all through and all this kind of stuff, and if it's love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to hurt people. Loving people don't hurt people, right? And so when we're looking at all these things and you're looking at how you live your life, if you just decide, I'm going to love my neighbor, that's going to change the way that you live in so many ways. And, well, I'll move on for that. I'm thinking about something else. So if you may be thinking, okay, now he said, first one though was love God. We were just talking about love neighbor. And I actually thought about doing one message tonight on love God and one next week on love your neighbor. And then, but here's the thing. If you love God, you will love your neighbor. In fact, you express your love to God by loving your neighbor. And Jesus actually taught this so clearly. I'm going to read some verse, and maybe some of you read before, maybe not, but or a little bitty passage here. And he makes this more clear than I can, so I'm just going to let Jesus tell us, okay? And what that means and how that lives out, okay? Here it is. This is in Matthew chapter 25. I better set it up because it's a little confusing. Jesus is talking about a time when he's going to come back. So he's gone to heaven now, and someday he's coming back. And then he says this, the king, that's him, okay? Then the king, that's Jesus, will say to those on his right. Now, if we read the whole illustration, which I didn't take time to do, there's people on his right who have accepted him and believe in him, and there's people on his left who have rejected him and don't believe in him, okay? So now he's talking to those who believe. And he says, those on his right, come you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of this world. It's like, hey, you've got heaven, okay? You've got this great thing for you. And I wonder if maybe the people there will go, what did we do to get this great inheritance, Jesus? And he's like, I'm so glad that you asked, because I'm going to tell you. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I don't remember that. Did you give him something to eat? I didn't give him anything to eat. Did you? I didn't even see him hungry. Okay. He goes, okay, I'm not done. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. Did you give him some water? Dr. Pepper? No? I don't know. Okay. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I invited him into my heart. I remember at camp that one time. Is that what he's talking about? I don't know if that's okay. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I know I didn't see him without clothes. I remember that. Okay. All right. I was sick and you looked after me. Okay, can Jesus even get sick? Why didn't you just go, in my name, be healed and done? Oh, I don't know. Okay, that doesn't even make sense, Jesus. I was in prison and you came to visit me. He broke the law? He in jail? I don't remember Jesus in jail. Okay. And so he says all of these things, and then this is so great, because he knows what people are going to be thinking, okay? And he says, then the righteous, those people he's talking to, will answer him. Do I have to do the voice still? Okay. Lord, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? Like, Lord, I don't remember seeing you hungry. When did we see that? Or see you thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you? I don't remember seeing you as a stranger and inviting you in. I mean, there was that heart thing. That's what we're talking about? No? Okay, no. Okay, or needing clothes and clothe you. I don't remember that. Or when did we see you sick or in prison and go visit you? And Jesus answers them. The king replied, I tell you the truth. Now listen to this. Whatever you did for the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. What is he saying? He says, when you love your neighbor as yourself, when you love your neighbor, you're loving me. When you look at somebody else that's hurting and needs something and you do it for them, you're actually loving me. So when somebody walks into this room and they haven't been into church in a long time and they kind of don't even really want to be here, but their parents said, you're going, or their friend finally begged them enough times they came and they walk in and they go, I don't really feel like I belong, I don't want to be here. And you go up to them and you invite them to be with your group and you friend them and make them feel welcome. This is what Jesus would say, you just made me feel welcome. You just loved me. When your friend who's sitting next to you or maybe down the road from you is going through a hard time and they don't really know how to handle it and their faith maybe even starts to waver and you pray with them and you encourage them and you strengthen them, this is what Jesus would say, you just loved me. You just strengthened me. You just encouraged me. You just did it for him. When we love each other, then we are loving God. You want to know how you can make me hate you? PJ, you can't hate people. Okay, you want to know how to make me really, 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 really not like you? Like want to see you punched in the face? Like that would give me joy? You're like, this is a weird illustration. Okay, you want to know how to do that? Mistreat one of my kids. If you talk and you hurt one of my kids, you say something that belittles them or does something to them, I tell you what, it doesn't matter how much money you give me. It doesn't matter what nice things you say to me. It doesn't matter if you write praise songs and sing them to me. I am not going to be okay with you, am I? Because, and here's the other side of that. If you are nice to my kids and you make them happy and you make them smile and you do nice things for them, guess what? We're good. I'm going to give you a hug, okay? Like, especially if somebody else was mistreating my kid and you stepped in and you took care of them and you said, you don't mess with his kids, okay? I'm going to buy you something. That's how that's going to go down, okay? I don't know, what are you talking about? Do you realize that every person that you lay eyes on is somebody that Jesus Christ died for? That every single person that you lay eyes on is a son or a daughter of the Father. Some of them are lost and away from him. Some of them are with him. But every single one of them is somebody that he loves and is looking for and is his son or daughter. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to mistreat his sons or daughters. And we need to realize that the master's intent is that we would love one another. That we would love each other. And if we miss that, we missed the point. If you are, I'll just dive right in, okay? If you are a great worshiper and you love Jesus and you give him your heart, I'm so thankful for that. But if you do that and then you walk out of the room and you tear somebody down and you gossip about them and you make them feel like trash, you missed the point. The point is we love each other. That his love in us would come out and show to the people around us. This is life-changing. This is who we are meant to be. And if we miss this one thing, we miss the whole point. We may do a whole bunch of stuff and call ourselves busy and Christians, but we miss the whole point of being a Christian. So I want to give you one simple question to ask yourself. And if you will start to ask yourself this question on a regular basis, it will make sure that when you pick up that muffed punt and you try to run, that you don't run the wrong way. That when you are out on the field and everything goes crazy, that you still know how to take the hill, that you know what to do. It's going to make sure that you don't miss the master's or the commander's intent. Here's the question. What does love require of me? It's a really simple question. In fact, let's make sure you don't forget it. Can you say it with me? Ready? What does love require of me? Well, again, ready? What does love require of me? Okay, now let's just whisper it, can we? What does love require of me? That's such a weird sound. Yeah, what does love require of me? Okay, here's why this is so big. Okay, now tonight, you go home, you're full on the brownies and ice cream we're going to give you. Okay, you're all happy. And your brother and your sister or whoever's in your home, they do that thing that ticks you off and you've asked them not to do it 1,000 times and you're about to speak. What if before you spoke you said, what does love require of me? You would say something different. What if tomorrow when your mom gives you an extra chore and it's not fair because you've already done more than all of your brothers and sisters combined and you're ready to and you said, what does love require of me? What if tomorrow when you found out something about that person you don't like and you got the best gossip and you could just make them look like total trash in front of everybody? You would be like the king, the queen of the moment. And right before you said that thing to tear someone else down to make yourself look better, you said, what does love require of me? What about when you got caught doing something you shouldn't do and you could lie your way out of it? But you know that lying is going to hurt that person. You know that lying is going to destroy this relationship when they find out. And so before you spoke, before you said something, you said, what does love require of me to do? You would do something different if you really took it to heart and said, hey, I'm going to do what love requires of me because that's my commander's intent. That's what I'm supposed to do. And that's how I want to live. What does love require of me? What's so cool about this, and if you're a Christian, this is why you should do it, what I'm about to tell you. And if you're not a Christian, I got some really good news for you right now. And that is that God asked this question. He looked down and he said, what does love require of me? And he looked and he saw you and he saw me and he saw something the same in us. And that is sin. And that is stupid stuff that we've done, mistakes and failures. And he saw a separation between us and him because of the sin in our lives. And he said, what does love require of me? I'm going to pay for that sin. And so for God, it meant sending his own son and watching him suffer on the cross. For Christ, it meant himself. When he asked himself this question, he put himself on a cross. And through his death, paid for your sin. When he asked, what does love require of me? He went all the way. Gave his life so that you could be forgiven of your sins. So that you could have eternity in heaven. So that you can have peace now. So that you can have his joy in your life. So that you can have a relationship with God. So let's do it too. Let's be people that will say, what does love require of me? And live it. Can you imagine what this would do? I know you can't make everyone in your family do it, but just imagine for a moment, if everyone in your family would ask this to themselves before they spoke or acted, how different some of our families would be. It'd be different, wouldn't it? So you're like, I wouldn't even recognize my family if we did that. Can you imagine if every Christian did this? I can't make every Christian do it, but let's just imagine. How different would Christianity be perceived in our culture if Christians, before they spoke, before they acted, would go, what does love require me in this moment? Now, there'd be plenty of people that still didn't believe, but they would be like, I might not believe in God, but I want to be a friend with a Christian because I mistreated that one, and man, they were so nice. They were so kind. They were so forgiving. I want to be around Christians. My best friends are Christians because they do this. See, this is what we're called to do. This changes everything. This changed the world once, and it'll change the world again. We can start with us. Let's be the place, the people that ask this question. Thanks for watching today. If you enjoyed the message, help us out by clicking the subscribe button or leaving a comment below. We'll see you next time.